Hey, what's up, people? Hi. We were up to about the late 90s. And like I said, I got a phone call. Now, this is, let me just set the stage for you guys. I'm living in Staten Island, 115 Stuyvesant Place, apartment 3H, at this point in my life. Now, my friend Sammy, who wrote D3 357, is getting released from prison. He's coming downstate. He's got parole and shit. So now I say, yeah, sure. I let him stay with me. I sign off. And his parole officer comes to the apartment and shit. Now, well, he's going to come on here. We'll talk about it. Right now, Sammy, D3, he actually has his own channel, but right now he's a little discombobulated, man. He was in a bad motorcycle accident. It's all stitches like this and shit. You could go on his podcast. He's actually showing it in his last video. He actually explains what happened to himself. His podcast thing is D, the letter D, the letter E, 3, the number 3, TV. That's DE3 TV. Yeah, you can check it out on there. Anyway, he gets paroled. I don't even remember what prison. One of the penitentiaries up there, almost in fucking Canada, you know. So he comes down. He's been up there a few years, I think, you know. So he comes down and he's living with me, right? Now he's on parole. I'm running around writing all over the fucking place with Justin, doing these tags everywhere. Justin, me. And this is back, man. This is back when they had all these gates. You see, that's why I say no one could really do it again. Because during the crack epidemic, they had like gate after gate after gate after gate. Like there was no storefronts like you have today. They didn't exist. It was almost the law, I believe, that you had to have a gate if you were like a merchant selling merchandise. Restaurants, shit like that, and depending on their hours and stuff, I swear to God, it was the law. You could Google it. To the best of my knowledge, it was the law. I know a few people that own storefronts. Most of them, when you rent them, they will have the gate anyway. But it would just be gates everywhere, and they're not there no more. Now people can actually, they got rid of the gates, most of these places, and now they can actually display what they're selling. So you could look at it at night when they're closed, and you could look and say, oh wow, that's nice, and you know, it's a nice display, and then they could go in the daytime and possibly purchase something. So they could use their window as a form of advertisement now. It's not just a big fucking roll down metal gate with tags all over it nowadays. So that's number one reason why no one could ever beat these people I'm talking about. J.A., Coster, Easy, or myself. You just can't. Now, there's just not that many spaces to write on. I mean, cameras and the buff, and it's physically impossible. It cannot be done. It won't be done. You'll see. It'll never ever happen. Anyway, getting back to the whole thing. I've been writing, like I said, since 1994. After my divorce, I came back. I went to the park to my 357 friends, and I asked them, yo, I'm back. I want to take shit down, man. Yo, this, that. And they looked at me like I was stupid. Actually, one of them said to me, what are you, 10 years old, bro? Come on, man. Graffiti? You know? So, fuck it. I went out, and I actually accomplished what I had set out to do. And like I said, I started towards the end of '94, and I was actually taking a boat from Staten Island to meet Just, to write graffiti all over the city. And I remember I was on that boat, and I was looking out at the water. I was on the bottom deck, and I was like, yo, I actually got this shit, yo. I actually did it. I've accomplished it. Yo, like, it's been almost 2 years. It's been like 18 months straight without anyone even fucking peeping at us, man. No matter who the fuck we went over or anything. I mean, you had a lot of new jacks popping up like fucking dandelions in a fucking field of grass. You know, they're popping up here and there and shit, which are nowadays the people you guys consider gods. They were just starting to pop up at that point. So, now, getting back to the whole thing, there was absolutely no one that was able to fuck with me, honestly. There was no one out there. Comment, tell me who. Everyone was gone. Easy was gone. J.A. was gone. Cost was gone. Just me and Just doing tags all over the place. Then, like I said, in the daytime, I would jump around with this guy Skay and do big, huge fucking things all over the place. I've made videos about that. I even showed some. And at the end of this video also, there'll be some more shown. But let me get to the point. Let me finish filling it in more, because I'm getting to this whole phone call thing. But I want to put in your minds what was going on in my life when this happened, okay? So we're hitting 1998. I'm as active as I've ever been. I'm even smashing garbage truck lots. The actual city, New York City Department of Sanitation trucks, they're white. I was hitting like 7 different lots, 5 different lots, I'll tell you right now. 100th Street, I actually just walked through there the other day and videoed it, and you'll see that at the end of this. 100th Street lot. I was getting that. I was getting the one Vifa showed me, the one I was just telling you guys about. Vifa, it brought me to down under the bridge there in the Lower East Side. I was hitting that one. Then I was going over to 21st Street in Astoria, Queens, actually almost Long Island City, near this projects. They're called Ravenwood houses, the projects. It's like after Queensbridge houses, and you actually have right across the street from that sanitation truck lot, and you could get a lot of them there. You had the New York City Housing Police Station right there. And I'd go in anyway. Actually, PK, Ripe, and Sear, and Bice, and them showed me that place originally. Yeah, fucking PK used to do the whole sides of them. Big, huge PK fill-ins back in the 80s, man. For real. That's when the trains were even running. PK would do the whole sides of them. A big, huge PK. Just like he would do on the trains. It was like top to bottom whole cars. Yeah, he would tear them shits up. I was getting them there. Then I was also on 54th. Off of 12th Avenue near the Hudson River there. I would catch them there. And I was catching them on 73rd in New York. And that was my biggest hit. 73rd in New York. I'd go there with my dog. And I'd go in the building. I'd hit fucking floor after floor after. There's like 40 trucks on the floor. 40, 50 trucks. And in the back, they'd actually have them parked all up and down the street. And I was killing them garbage trucks. Regular old white garbage trucks. A lot of people, a lot of action on those things, man. A lot of people up in Harlem were fucking with those things. A lot of people in the Lower East Side were tearing them shits up. And a lot of people in Queens, the garbage trucks was the shit, I was also hitting the bus depots. I was hitting the buses, too. I used to hit them actually way back in 1982, 1983. I would hit them with Lace and my brother. My brother would do Sean tags on the buses. This is before the buses you see now. I'm talking about the metal ones, before the Grummins. And I would write on them. And Lace would do Wordster. That's what he wrote on them. W-O-R-D-S-T-E-R. Wordster. I don't know. Just before he was even like lacing it hard, He would do laces on the 6s and stuff like that. But for some reason on the buses he wrote Word and Wordster. And my brother wrote Sean. I wrote Redo or To Rob. I don't remember, but that's way back. But getting back to like 1998, I was hitting garbage truck lots. I was killing the river, like I said, before my phone rang. A month and a half, 2 months before my phone rang, I was on the news, 2 days. The first day, for the assault on the river, me and Barron did. With all these paint, it's on the podcast, or a video packed that way. They came by with these boats, and they were flushing the shit, buffing it with it's actually like a fireboat, like a fire hose. They were shooting this shit out. It was peeling the paint right off the fucking wall, like high pressure. And it was on video. And they had the mayor and the assistant mayor, deputy commissioner or some shit. They're vowing to catch us. Then I went, like that night, that was on the news. Once I saw that, I went up to Gracie Mansion. I wrote all around Gracie Mansion, like I explained in my other video, which is the mayor's house at that point, Mayor Giuliani. I wrote Artie. Now these guys were fiending for graffiti, man. They wanted to catch every fucking body. Like I said, he actually developed a squad. Within the first 2 weeks, Giuliani had like 20-something people arrested. Within the first 2 weeks. I believe there was like 25 cops that were already kind of involved with vandalism and shit like that, and he put them together and they formed this kind of a vandal squad-ish thing. I mean, they always had the Pelham Bay graffiti squad. I was always dealing with those motherfuckers, but they never really got me. Anyway, Giuliani built this force, this, that. I was on the news for doing that shit with Barron on the river. Then the next night, I'm on the news again for writing all over the mayor's house. And they actually explained it as like a vendetta or some shit like that. And I don't even remember. I don't even have the tape no more. I know Timmy Barron had it. You know who got it? I gave it to actually Carl Weston when he was doing a videograph. I actually gave him my copy of it, and he promised to give it back. But that's when he got raided, and they all got arrested, and they were all over the news. That was years later. But anyway, yeah. So I'm doing all this shit, right? Now, like I say, I'm going up on this boat, and I'm coming across the river to meet Justin, to go writing graffiti, just doing tags. And I said, yo, I kind of got this shit, yo. It's been like 2 years before anyone's even fucked with me, man. Like, yo, we got this shit, you know? So I remember I was riding around with Justin. I'm like, yo, dude, man, I think I'm going to switch up my path. He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to start doing like pieces and like blockbusters and shit, like some, you know, nice, like, shit. I'm not going to go as far as wild style pieces because I don't do that. I just honestly, I never had the interest in like sitting there and doing letters. I mean, you guys can see I do artwork. I'm good with art, but just the forming of letters, it just, I don't know, it didn't appeal to me. It's like kind of like a waste of time. It's something I'm just not interested in doing. I don't know. You know, some people do cartoons, some people do landscapes, some people do portraits, you know, animation, this, that. I just don't do that. It's just that. But I've got enough knowledge and space and dimension and 3D and stuff like that where I pull off some pretty decent stuff. And you'll see in this, because like I said, at that point, I said, all right, now I got everything. I got shit on lock. Now let me start upping my game, like doing pieces and shit, nice stuff. So, because none of them other guys ever did that. Like Costa, he ran around with these big rollers, did big fucking buildings and shit like that. Easy just ran around doing a bunch of tags. J.A., you know, I already was saying that he just did films like this big. And very seldom did he do anything bigger than that. Bunch of tags all over the place. So yeah, that's that. So I figured, yeah, if I start hitting it from that aspect, that would be like a feather in my hat that they don't have. You got me? It'll just widen my resume or whatever. My street cred, I don't know what the fuck you call it. You see, graffiti's a game, you know, and if you can't just, I don't know, I never understood why someone would just write a couple of tags. You know, it's like, yo, let's play a game. Like, let's do this. Like, I got you on this shit. You know, that was my mindset. You know, it's always been, all right, how can I take this shit down? I want to conquer this shit. That's how I always thought. Like, I played to win. Like, I didn't play to be involved. You got me? I never played to just be another smear of shit on a wall. I wanted to be the best smear of shit on the wall. You got me? I wanted to be the most. You got me? And now I'm starting to think I want to start getting creative and do some pretty pieces and shit and blockbusters and stuff with color in it, you know? So I got in touch with my boy Joey, TDS. He runs the Hall of Fame up there. Now, when I did the Hall of Fame, I never, ever, ever, look at my face, I never, ever, ever did that shit legally. I can't. I do not do legal graffiti. Like I've explained before, there's 3 or 4 things I have done legally for friends, you know, like Sweet Chicks, like I said before. John Seymour is a childhood friend of mine. He owns a place called Sweet Chicks. I did the side of that place for him. You know, that's my boy, you know, him, and my brother knows him better than me even, you know, he goes back from this area. You know, there's a few people like that. I did Turkish Truck also with Crook, TBK, TFE, and Raul, the guy I was just talking about in my last video. Yeah, and Crook was there. I remember Crook. I was hanging out with Crook, talking to Crook and stuff. Yeah, I did a truck. It was legal. I was allowed to do it. My friend asked me, yeah, sure, why not? So I did it. But now, getting back to this set that we're at, 98-ish. I got everything smashed. It's at the point where I'm actually starting to do real beautiful shit in the Hall of Fame, or at least shit I thought was pretty. One of them winded up on an album cover of Prodigy. He was a rapper guy. And I was doing a bunch of shit. I teamed up with Spawn and Pove, you know, Pove MPC, Spawn GNR. I teamed up with them once or twice and did stuff. I did shit with Part TDS up there and Joey. Joey did the Twins with Part, and then Part did a Part piece, and I did an RD. Yeah, we used to take shit down. I was doing the whole Hall of Fame at 1 or 2 points. We actually, Pove, me and Spawn actually caught some guys from Europe out there. We robbed them for a bunch of their paint. We did this big, huge shit. I did an Erica piece down there. I did a bunch of different shit. You know, girlfriends' names and stuff. I started doing some pretty shit. I also started going behind the heliport doing pretty shit because no one was crossing me out anymore. So I figured, fuck it, like, yo, let me go for it, you know. And I started doing that shit even. Like, 2-3 months before that, I was on the fucking news, like I said, twice. Just had shit so smashed. It's like you guys can't begin to fathom of how this shit was playing itself out, man. Really wild shit. Let me sit down here. Let me fix this thing here. There we go, right? You guys can see me, right? Yeah, so now my phone rings, right? I'm home. I believe it was a Saturday morning or something like that. I'm laying in bed with my girl at that time. And the phone rings. I think she actually answered it and gave it to me. And I'm like, hello, who is this? You know? The guy introduces himself as ESPO, Steven something or another. He's writing a book, a graffiti book. And he wants to write this book about me getting my ass kicked by Chino. So I listen to all this shit. I say, at the end of the conversation, I don't really say much. I just listen to what he's pitching. I say, nah, I'm all right, thanks. And I hung up on him. Now the guy calls me right back. No, that wasn't too polite. You know, this and that. So I told him, man, fuck you, man. Who the fuck you are calling me up with this bullshit, you know? I said, you want to write a fucking book about me getting my fucking ass kicked? Come on, man. He said, it's not a book, it's a chapter. And he said, it's getting written regardless of your say-so. You know? So I said, well, I don't give a fuck about your book. What are you, Henry Chafonte or whatever the fuck you is, or Martha Cooper? I was like, fuck you and your fucking book. Hung up on him again. And like 2 or 3 days go by. Calls back again. You know, I think my girl actually told me that he, you know, she'd be there. She'd walk the dog sometimes if I'm coming home late or something, you know. So I believe she told me he called in between that time or something. So he called me again. So I was like, look, dude, I told you, I'm not fucking interested. Like, why are you bugging me with this shit, man? You know, like, yo, like, I'm out there just doing me, yo. I really don't give a fuck about your book. I was like, I never even fucking heard of you. I was like, the fuck is my involvement in this shit? What do you want to do that shit with me for? You know, I don't, then I went like this, how'd you even get my phone number? This is what I told the guy, ESPO, E-S-P-O. He did a book called The Art of Getting Over in the Millennium of Graffiti or some shit like that. And I said, how the fuck you even get my fucking number? Because I gotta admit to you, I have no idea who this person is. This ESPO guy, I never fucking heard of him. You know what I mean? And I actually kind of forgot of Chino. Like, I haven't heard from Chino, you know, like, since I fought him in like 1989, like 10 years ago or something. Like, we put up our hand, boom, 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 you know. I don't get it. So I'm thinking to myself, is this a fucking cop? You know, because like I explained, Giuliani's got this new shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like, he's really out to get graffiti. I was just on the fucking news. I actually just stabbed the guy in the fucking ass, too. A dude was playing hero near Bryant, that's right. Like, the night before that phone call, the first phone call, but not this time. The very first time that dude called me back, first time that phone actually ever fucking rang. The night before that, I was near Bryant Park. I was trying to get up a little more than Justin, so I went out by myself. You know, some guy saw me and actually caught me, had me. Now, you gotta realize what I just said there. I'm a tricky, slippery, fucking evasive motherfucker. Like, it is not easy. Like, I run, you know what I'm saying? I fight, you know what I'm saying? But, yo, this dude, he was actually going out for a jog at 3 in the fucking morning, and he came right out the door where I was writing on a gate, right near Bryant Park, that building that slants out like this. I believe it was right around the corner. I think it was a pharmacy or something like that I was writing on. Fucking guy, I was like, oh shit, you know, I had my bicycle But I was actually, the bike was between my balls. Like I wasn't even off the bike because there was no one around. I didn't even take liberty to do that. So, you know, I did turn around, started hauling. Grabbed me, this guy, threw me on the floor. You gotta realize, Bryant Park, I mean, this is way before 9/11. We're talking like 1998. Yeah, like 1998-ish. So now, this guy's got me, man. He's fucking got me. He's got me by my hair. I had long hair. He's got half a fucking headlock on me. He's got me by my hair. Right? So now I look. I'm on the floor with the bike still between my balls. I look across the street. I see a fucking cop car that pulled up. And they notice what's going on. So they don't even bother coming to this side with the car. They just start walking across the street towards me. So at that point, I reached in my pocket, I pulled out a knife, and I stabbed them in the ass 3 or 4 times. I didn't want to get arrested for graffiti. I couldn't. My friend passed away. My friend died. And I was to be like the pallbearer. Like I had to carry his coffin to put it in the fucking graveyard, to drop it down into the dirt. I had to do that when the sun came up that morning. So I'm like, I can't fuck my friend over like that. That shit was kind of like part of his wishes and shit, like with his family, you know? So I go along, I stabbed this fucker in the ass a couple of times, you know? And the cops really were only about 50 feet away from me. They looked me dead in the eye as I ran away. I couldn't even get on my bike. I actually ran to Bryant Park, ran down into the station, ran through, tried to get to the fucking Metro North, because I know that place like the back of my head. I could pop up a couple blocks from my house almost. You know, if I could get in the Metro North tunnels where the trains go to Metro North. But I didn't have it that good. But I did get into a tunnel and I got away. I popped out somewhere. I don't even fucking remember. I think I popped out near the northern part of Grand Central Station, like towards Lexington or something like that. I popped out a hatch. So now all this shit's going on, and then my phone rings like the next fucking day. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! Like, you know, I'm like, yo, come on, man, this shit. I'm listening to this guy talking, and I'm like, what the fuck? A book? Me get my head? What? Like, I honestly, I never heard of this ESPO guy. I honestly thought that this might be some kind of a trick that Rudolph Giuliani, the mayor, is pulling. You know, I figured somehow they got me and the shit's popping off. You know, so I'm not giving much information. I'm just listening to everything, you know. So then, like, I noticed my battery's conking out on this thing. But anyway, you know, I listened to the conversation, and I said, no, I'm not interested. I hang up. Calls again. This goes on for like 2-3 weeks. So then finally, I'm like, oh, dude, how the fuck you even get this fucking phone number? Like, he's like, your boy Cost gave you up. Cost, you know, Cost, Adam Cost, K-I-T. So I, this happened. I knew that was bullshit, but then I felt safe. Because first off, if it was a cop, they wouldn't give up their informant, and they wouldn't throw someone under the bus either, you know, cause some kind of a war or something like that. You never know with gangs and stuff, although there wasn't much gang activity in these 5 boroughs at that point. Everyone was kind of like self-efficient, you know. As far as it goes with like Bloods and Crips and shit, that really wasn't East Coastish. If it was, I wasn't hearing about it on the Upper East Side where I live. But anyway, I thought the guy was a fucking cop until he said that. Then I knew he was not a cop. I said, okay, this guy's not a cop. The reason I knew he was not a cop is, like I just explained, they wouldn't just up their informant like that, and they wouldn't just throw an innocent person in the mix either. They wouldn't do that. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's legal to me anyway. And then I know Cost. I know Cost real well. Cost lives for graffiti. There's no way on the face of this earth that he would do all that damage and then go out like that and telling on people for stupid shit. Cost knows the law better than I know the fucking law, man. Believe me, Cost, he would never do that. He knows it's just a bullshit charge. Like, he would never, ever do that. Now, third off, Cost didn't even know where I was living. Like I was explaining before, I went riding with Cost in the 80s. In the 80s on the subways. Then when I got married, I never met the man again. The last I saw Cost was like 1987, except for one time in 1994. I was in the Big Apple Comic-Con, 11 Penn Plaza. I was robbing the place with my wife. Like I said, I'd rob the place every month. And Cost was there robbing the place. We bumped into each other. I was like, yo, we both kind of looked at each other sheepishly and said, yeah, I'm Robin. And he's like, yeah, I'm out here, boosting comics and shit. And I hear you, man. Yeah, we shook hands and kept it moving. I never exchanged any information with him. My wife said hi to him or something like that. And it was like a 3-minute talk I had with the guy in 1994, and I never saw the guy again. I never told him where I was. At that point, I was actually married. I moved, I got divorced, I'm living out in Staten Island. That guy had no way of knowing who the fuck or where I was or what phone number to call me or anything like that. It costed me, we always bounce. We meet each other, we throw our information out till we bump into each other again or something. We never rolled like that. You guys got that shit a little twisted. It was never like that with me and him. But it also let me know that this guy's full of shit that I'm on the phone with, when he finally said that. So then I said, how did you get involved with this whole thing? How do you know these people, like Chino and them? Where did he said, oh, well, I met Ghost and J.A. at the filming of that movie, Rocky V, when Rocky fights Tommy the Machine Gun Morrison. I believe he died from complications to AIDS. Yeah, that movie, when it was being filmed in Philadelphia, they have the JA tags and the Ghost and this and that, the little buildings and stuff like that. That's when ESPO met them. That's what he told me, right? So I said, all right, I'll meet you. Where you want to meet me? He said, oh, you pick the place. So, like I said, D3 got out of prison. He was living with me. He had to get a job. D3 Sammy. He had to get a job. It's part of his parole. So he was actually working at Starbucks on H Street. I said, all right, I'll meet you on Starbucks on H Street. I also had my brother sitting around. Now, anyone knows my brother knows my brother. I don't have to say more. He's my big little brother. He's shorter than me, but older than me. Anyway, he was there too. So off in the distance, drinking a coffee or something like that. So I go there, I meet this guy, ESPO. I talk to him. I say, you know what are you doing? I'm out there, I'm trying to do me, man. I don't give a fuck about this stupid book shit, man. I'm out there rocking hard, man. You're fucking with me with this shit. Why? I don't want to do this, He's like, well, it'd be better to have your side as to match up with Dave's side and this and that. And I'm like, well, all right, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Chino punched me in the face more than I punched him in the face, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I tell him my side of the story, this, that, man. Fine. Now, there's another thing that also puzzled me before I actually met him. I just remembered. It's this girl, Donna. Now, Donna lives in this neighborhood. Her grandmother lived down there on Mulberry Street. Actually, right in between the Ravenite Club and fucking Umberto's. Her grandmother lived down there, so she always hung out down there, a lot of those people. But anyway, I was talking to Justin, and he's like, Just, DWC. He's like, yo, I know where's ESPO. I'm like, yo, let's go cross that shit out. This is before I actually went to meet him and talk to him. I'm like, these people are dragging me out into the spotlight. This is the worst thing for any kind of criminal element, is to be dragged into the spotlight, especially with someone you don't even fucking know who they are or what their intentions are. So I started crossing out this ESPO shit and revolt against what these fucking guys doing to me. And he kept fixing it real quick. So now we got this girl, Donna. She went into one of these places where he had this big ESPO, big one, So she says, oh, I own a shoe store or some shit like that. I'm interested. They told me the guy didn't leave a card. Something like that, blah, 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 blah. But when it gets, something happens to it, I guess he goes there and he says, oh yeah, let me fix it or something. But he's doing it legally. He's doing this shit legally. Legally. He's allowed to do it. The people that own these stores were letting him do it. At least that one spot. I'm sure they weren't allowing him to jump around the train tunnels and shit and do that stuff. But anyway, that's a different story. So now, that kind of was a little fishy with me. You know what I mean? I was like, legally and this and that. He's not even a writer. It's like some mural shit, is this a cop? I was really fucking thinking this was a cop. Just put it this way. That was the end. That was it. I actually got in touch with Justin. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I think this fucking dude's a cop fucking with me, man. I threw the towel in. I stopped writing. At that point, I was like, psh, I gotta quit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. You know, Sammy, D3's living with me. His parole officer's coming by, and this and that. And, you know, I stabbed the guy in the ass, all types of shit over there in the Bryant Park. I got the city on smash. I was on the news twice. Like a month before, this guy even fucking calls me. It's like the balls and the audacity of these fucking people, man. You know, and I explained to him nicely after I said, okay, you know, let me see what I can get out of this thing. Let me try and finagle the shit. Obviously, I'm trying to strong arm him, and that shit ain't working. It's just making matters worse. You know, so I actually stopped crossing him out, and I started trying to reason with the guy. I said, all right, we'll meet. So we met. We did that whole interview thing. I don't know if he did it with a tape recorder or if he wrote down what I was saying. I don't remember. But anyway, we sat there. I told him what happened, and I left. And I think a couple months later, a year or something like that, the book comes out. You know, so I actually go to book signing, like the book release party. You know, he's he tells me, you know, I say, yeah, so people are telling me about this book signing thing. I mean, Ben, we went through all this shit. You don't even fucking invite me? Like, you know, what the fuck? He's like, well, it's your Joe's Pub. But I've been told that, like, if you're going to come, like, it's going to be a problem. Like, they're going to have to hire more security, this and that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I will come by myself. And you got to remember, I've had beef with everybody. Every fucking buddy out there I had beef with. They could deny it, but they know I had beef with them. Every single one of these people. I was going over everyone. They were all going over me. I had beef with everyone. And I told ESPO on the phone, same phone number he called a long time and been bugging me to do this fucking book. I told him I will come by myself. I will be there by myself. Man, it was all, well, you know, this, that, and, you know, your friends. I said, what the fuck, you think they're going to be hiding in the fucking bushes, bro? Come on, man. Like, yo, I already know where the place is. Like, if we wanted to go in that motherfucker, we'd go in that motherfucker, you know? Joe's Pub. So, he's all right, you know, so I said, dude, listen, I give you my fucking word. All right, I'll bring one other person. I'll bring rum with me. I said, that dude, he's like an Assyrian dude, man. You know, a very humble, cool dude, man. I'll bring him. Oh, okay, you know. I said, dude, I give you my word. So with my word, I went there with rum. And we sat there, I was spilling out lines of fucking cocaine, lines of fucking cigarettes, man. And right on the table in front of everyone. Like, yeah. People like, oh, let me get some. You know, yeah. Ghost came in, but he left again. I don't know what that was about. Chino, I didn't see him there at all. Chino didn't show up. I was hanging out with Stan 153. He was there. Some girl, Kim, I wound up going home with her or something. Then there was, who else was there? Wolf was there. Ven was there. Kite was there. Joey TDS was there. Everyone was there. It was like everyone you could think of was there. I was there. I was hanging out there. I was the ball of the fucking bell. Like I said, I didn't give a fuck, man. I was up in there. Like, I was just putting them right on the table and doing that shit. Like, fuck it. You know, like, you know, I was showing off. You know, having a good time, eating rum, yeah. That was good shit. But anyway, when this book comes out and I read it, I'm not lying to you. If you guys have the book or whatever, it's kind of weird. Like, it's pretty much the end of Rocky V. Like, you know that movie that I was just talking about where they all met each other in Philadelphia when Sylvester Stallone was filming a Rocky V? When they were filming that fucking movie, they all met together, but the end of the story with me, it's that movie. Like, I swear to God, even the word, like, yo, the crowd of people that were around, like, I don't even really remember a crowd of people. I do remember one person coming up to me that was coming out of Bellevue who was actually a correction officer in a DFY facility I was in, like a juvenile center that I was in. Like, that guy looked at me, and I'm over there fighting with Chino and shit, and he must have been dying laughing, because you know how many times that guy came up to me, got me in like a full Nelson, and pulled me off people, beating me with a fucking nightstick, that same fucking guy. I'm dead serious. It's just like I'm fighting Chino, and all of a sudden, like, the guy's walking by, you know, and like I say, Chino, he got the best of me in that, yeah. He punched me in the face more than I punched him in the face. I actually had nothing wrong with me. Like, I had no black eyes, no broken nose. You can see it till this day, my nose never been broken. You know, nothing, no busted lip, no nothing. I actually went writing graffiti that night. I had nothing wrong with me. Apparently, he broke a bunch of bones in his hands or some shit like that. But I do remember him hitting the wall, so that's probably from that. I kind of got out the way. But, yeah, he won fair and square. Yeah, he beat me. Now, I don't even know how to begin on this shit, but, yeah, so now they make a book about this shit. And it's out there. This book, I actually thought it just some like little zine or something they were talking about, like a little magazine that they hand out in tattoo parlors or some shit, you know, I don't know, book. But yeah, this thing winds up going worldwide and becomes a very famous book. So now, every time I'm asked to go on a podcast or anything, they say, so, what happened with you and Chino? What was that fight, this, that, blah, blah, blah. You know, so I'll tell you, I give my version on Angel Z podcast. I'm not going to go through the whole fucking thing again. Now, here's the funny thing, because you know this guy Skid, good friend of mine, Skid 357. Yeah, anyway, he tells me I do this Angel Z podcast thing, right? And it airs and stuff, and honestly, I heard Chino did that thing too, but I don't listen to Angel Z podcast. I kind of had a falling out with them. I mean, they're cool, they're young, and I just didn't like the way things played out, so I refused to you know, be involved with them ever again or go on their sites. But I heard Chino actually went on there. You know, I was talking shit or something, I heard about it, but I can't picture that. Like, this is the thing now. This guy Skid's telling me, you know, Chino hates when you tell him that story, or Chino doesn't want me telling that story, or Chino this, like, Chino doesn't want me talking about that fight no more. I'm like, well, fucking shit, man, the fucking dude never should have wrote a book about it. Like, honestly, the only thing people know about me is that I fought fucking Chino. Like, seriously, like, you write a fucking book about it, you destroy my life, you fucking kill my graffiti career, kill it. I actually left the country. I honestly left the fucking country after that. I really did. I went down to Jamaica, the West Indies. I told fucking Just, I was like, yo, Just, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I got these people with books. I got fucking parole officers coming to my house. Oh, I forgot to mention, right when this guy calls me, Sammy, D3, who's on parole, decides to disappear. Like, so now I got the parole officers coming to my house asking me where the fuck Sammy is. They was jumping around with these YKK guys, killing all the mouths of the tunnels and the subway stations and shit. We jumped around with the Get, High Five. I even came home and Kez 5 was sitting there, you know? Yeah, he was jumping around with these guys, tearing shit up when he's on parole. He just got released from some penitentiary up fucking state somewhere, almost in Canada. So he's jumping around, this is fucking peers. This is fucking peers. So I'm like, oh, I remember, I'm telling Just, I'm like, I don't know, I'm not going writing no more. I was like, this shit's not playing out right, man. You know, I don't know. I got this dude calling me about some fucking book. I got this going on. I got that going on. I was like, I got to throw in the towel for a little minute. I got to, like, get shit back to reality here, man. This shit's getting wild, man. You know, I got to get back into the darkness, man. I'm too much out. I'm on Front Street. I'm blown, man. Like, these fucking ESPO guy, like, he really shine the light on me. Like, I was destroying shit. And like, yo, I was like, fuck Giuliani with his cops, fuck this, fuck that, fuck everyone. ESPO shut me down, man. ESPO threw fucking gunk in my fucking engine, man. Yeah, for real, he threw a monkey wrench in my plans. Now, I'm also looking at it like this. Who the fuck is this fucking guy? Coming from fucking Pennsylvania, Philadelphia or something. He's a fucking nobody. A fucking nobody. If you look at pictures of this fucking guy, honestly, he looks like that. He looks like a white fucking Nas X. You know, but anyway, besides all that, it's like, that's the thing I don't like. That's when graffiti became weird. When people start thinking that they're more important than the next person. Like, that's honestly what happened. Like, fuck you, Robert, and what you got going on in your life. You're going to stop that to please me and my stupid little book I'm writing, to make me a somebody, because I'm currently a nobody. I looked into it later on. Like, he would jump around doing a bunch of legal shit in Philadelphia, too, this fucking guy. I don't know how Chino jumped the board on that whole fucking thing, but you guys should never wrote a fucking book about this shit if you don't want me fucking talking about it. So, I mean, Let's be real. Like, one of the number one questions anyone asks me is, so, that fight with you and Chino, what the fuck? You know, it's like Mickey Mantle winning the fucking World Series. Like, yo, when you won the World Series, like, come on, like, you put it out there for the world to see. Now, let me ask you another question, people. Tell me, I tell you, I've had 25 graffiti fights, all right? I only lost 4 of them. Tell me who I beat up. Who are the other 21 people? You tell me whose ass I fucking kicked. Tell me. You can't. You know why? I don't talk about it. You don't know about it. You get me? You see? I do things for reasons. You follow me? It makes sense, no? But anyway, yeah, this dude's fucked me up 6 ways to Sunday with that fucking book thing. And, well, D3 disappeared, but that's D3. That's my man. I love that fucking dude. He can never do me wrong. Never. Anyway, getting back to the whole fucking thing, they fucked me up. I actually was like, just as like, oh, we're going to do this. I was like, no, I'm sorry, dude. I'm out. I'm out. I was like, it wouldn't be a wise decision for me to continue any further. I was like, dude, take a break. I'm like, I'm bouncing. I'm leaving the country. You know, I got other plans. I hooked up with these Jamaicans. They got some work for me downtown, you know, down in the West Indies. They need a white boy down there, you know, clean-cut white boy. I could be that clean-cut white boy. So I'm bouncing for about a year or two, man. I'm out. I said, I don't think you need to write any more graffiti. And even if someone came out right now and started destroying all our shit, fuck that, man. 6, 7 years, 4 years, you come back out and tear shit up again, you know? I said, that's the way it's going to have to be, because I'm out, man. I ain't trying to go down like that, man. I'm leaving. And even though it's just a stupid little graffiti charge, but that's important to me. I want to be able to continue writing graffiti my whole life. Like, you get me? Like, I was never supposed to get caught. That was never part of my plan. I guess it's never anyone's plan to get arrested and go to prison. But, I mean, that was not part of my plan. And now you got to realize this, too. Mayor Rudolph Giuliani was the mayor at that point. He was the mayor. He made graffiti a felony. There's people out there, I could name a bunch of them, that wind up going to Rikers Island for 6 fucking months, man. 6 months. Pulled just for writing graffiti. Like, yo, seriously, I know, I don't want to go blowing that spot up. It's none of my business. I can name people that are friends of mine that got caught, that wind up doing time, like acquaintances. And I can name enemies of mine that I don't like, that have, but that's not my style. But yeah, think about that. All right, you can tell me who kicked my ass, because I gladly talk about that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, me and my brother Sean, speaking of penitentiaries, that poor bastard, he's up in Clinton right now. He don't even go before the parole board to 2039. 2039. He's going to get denied. But anyway, he'll probably be out when he's in his 80s. But anyway, look at this now. Me and my brother would have fights. Sometimes I'd kick his ass. This times I stabbed him in the ass with a steak knife in his ass. I put out lights on his. I smashed him with like lamps that were lit with the bulb. You know, we fought. Sometimes he'd win, sometimes I'd win. Sometimes he'd grab a pen, bah, and he wins. You know, sometimes I grab a chair, bah, and I win. Sometimes we just fight, bah, bah, bah. I win, he wins. Shit happens. You can't win everything all the time. I'm not Mike Tyson. I'm not trying to be the badass that's like that. It's not my style. I'm just trying to fucking write a lot of graffiti, man. That's my only fucking interest. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. But I mean, like I said, there was absolutely nothing wrong with me. No one could even notice that I was in a fight after that. But, and also, getting back to that movie, Rocky V, there's a scene in that movie where Paulie, who is the brother of Rocky's wife, Adrian's brother, he goes like this to Tommy Morrison, "You bum, go home, you bum, go." Yo, I swear, in the story about me fighting him, it's like, and they yelled out, "You go home, you bum." Like, I swear to God, read that shit and watch the end of Rocky. It's the same fucking thing. Like, it really is. And even like this correctional facility they're talking about from like the movie Sleepers, I remember in comparison talking to him like that, but that shit's like it's a fairy tale. Like that movie Sleepers, like that shit never even really happened. Like it's a book. Like it's like the Count of Monte Cristo, well, Alice in Wonderland. You get me? Like, and he actually writes like Wilkinson's Correctional Facility. That place don't even exist. At least not in New York. It never did. Never will. Like it's a book. You get me? Like I don't know. Like. Yeah, I had a few problems with that. But in all fairness, and then it's like some shit about, he even admits it, like you have his side of the truth, my side of the truth, and then the truth or something like that. Like, yeah, I actually like the book, don't get me wrong. It actually, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And like I said, hey, you win some, you lose some. And a lot of people actually know of me, RD, Robert Dyer, because of that book. So I'm actually kind of grateful for the book. I just don't like that cunny bullshit that went down, man. That was like some real fuckery. Like you think about it, and there's people out there. I could get into a couple of people. That's the reason I got problems with Skay right now, too. Like the same type of deal. Like you get these people that like, they think that they're more important, or they know best, or like, they want something done, and no matter what happens to you, they don't give a fuck. And that's a problem I have with these podcasts, too. And I'll get into that, too, with this Angel Z one that I did with them, Angel Z podcast. Like I said, they're nice guys, they're young, you know. But I was there talking, and before anything, they're like, you know, this, that. I said, well, I don't know, you know. I said, well, we could delete stuff, we could edit it, is the word they use. So we started getting into stuff with me down in Jamaica and my baby's mother and stuff like that. You know, so I said, well, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to, I didn't even talk to my kid about something. Hey, what's up, people? Sorry about that. The card's full on this thing. I was videoing earlier yesterday. I was videoing sanitation lot and the Hall of Fame and stuff. And $30 camera, like a little camcorder. It's, a couple of years ago, it's been sitting around the house. It's on a maybe $12 tripod. Maybe $15 tripod. So, yeah, shut off. Now, back to, what is it, Angel Z podcast. Yeah, so they, I went to this thing I was doing. I really didn't even really want to do that, but I told Skid, all right, you know, Skid's my boy. And so I go and I do it. And, you know, I'm talking about things, and like I said, it's pretty much my own fault. I should know better. Me of all people, you know, shit I've been through in my life. But, I mean, it was nothing really serious or nothing, but, you know, I was kind of like, I don't want to, you know, they're like, oh no, we could edit it this time. They didn't even told me that before or anything. I was like, well, now suppose I say names by accident or something. Oh, we could edit it, we could do this and that. All right. And when I was speaking about it, I said, you know, I don't want to get into that, you know. And he said, oh no, we'll edit it this, that, blah, blah, blah. So I was mentioning things about down in Jamaica and stuff. I guess I said nothing really big or nothing, but I told him, you're going to edit that out when we're done. Even before I left. When I was shaking their hand. I do mean shaking their hand, like not high-fiving or pounding or nothing. Shook their hand. I said, yo, don't forget, man, edit that shit. So 3 or 4 days passed. They actually put it on, and they didn't edit it. So I get in touch with Skid, and I'm like, yo, what's up with your boys? He said, yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, he don't know nothing, this, that. And I get in touch with them, and then I call them, talk to them on the phone, and like, they're like, well, we never did this before and this and that. And I mean, it's early on, too. It's not even a video of me. It's actually audio, pretty much. But I'm like, yo, you got to remove that shit. If anything, take the whole fucking episode down or something, man. You can't have that shit on there, man. I told you guys you got to do that. You know, I said there's a certain thing I'm talking about on there. I didn't even tell my kid, you know. So, oh, well, this, that. And I was sitting around talking to a few friends of mine who are actually lawyers. They're like, well, you know, you can really fuck around in the court system, but you definitely ain't going to get no money out of it. I said, well, you know, that's not my style. You know, man, you know, I don't want to do that. That's like kind of like a rat move, you know. But, yeah, they told me if it's your voice and you didn't sign any type of an agreement or anything like that, you know, like you're allowing them. But he said if it was hearsay or if it's a third party saying what they heard you say, then that's fair game. But if it's you saying something that came right out your mouth, now, you won't get no money out of it, but you'll screw them up and tie them up in court, and they'll possibly have to pay for lawyers and stuff like that, and they could really fuck them up. I'm like, well, I don't want to go down that road. You know, but I told them, yeah, I got lawyers, man, ready to work for me for free, man. Yeah. So eventually they pulled it. And they took those couple of seconds out and they put it back on, or somehow maybe they, I don't know, they took care of the problem. And like I said, I blame myself more than anything. It was my own stupidity, but I refuse to watch their show or have anything to do with it. I did hear Chino went on there recently. And he was talking about it like I shouldn't be talking about it or something like that. And, you know, that's pretty much like what Skid was telling me early on. You know, after I actually did that podcast, the conversation came up, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, this, that. I talk about the fight with Chino. So, you know, Skid's like, hey, he heard that, and he hates that, or he's mad at me, or something like that. And he don't want you talking about it no more. I'm like, well, fuck him, man. Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, yo, look at the whole picture. Like, you pull me out of my fucking comfort zone. I'm out there, king of New York. You pull me out, you shut me down. I have to leave the fucking country. I come back to the fucking country. I pop my head up a little bit. I say, everything looks cool. I start tearing shit up again. Then all of a sudden I get caught, I get arrested, I'm not writing graffiti no more, and people want to talk to me. The only thing they know about me is that fucking book that you people wrote. Like, no one knows nothing about me other than that fucking book. Seriously, like, that book went worldwide. So if I'm sitting there and people ask me to go on to a podcast or something, the first question they ask me is, yo, what's up with that fight with you and Chino? What the fuck am I going to say? I'm not allowed to talk about it? Speak to my agent? Like, get the fuck out of here, yo. That shit don't work that way, yo. I don't know the reason behind that. And that's why, hearing that, I don't think the guy talked bad about me on the Angel Seed podcast. Because if he don't want to talk about it, why would he talk about it? You get me? Like, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but he's allowed to talk about it? Like, yo, I don't know, man, but... Like, I don't know, like, you guys got, like, the wrong picture of me, man. That's like, yo, like, what the fuck, yo, I ain't your bitch, yo, that's some shit right there. Like, yo, Robert, don't talk about that shit. But then, like, yo, you're gonna talk about, like, you pull me out of my comfort zone, like, I'm up all over the place, no one can fuck with me. No one shut me down but ESPO. Seriously, Giuliani and his own fucking people couldn't shut me down, for real. Giuliani and his people couldn't shut me down. No other graffiti writers. This fucking guy from Philadelphia comes with some fancy fucking book thing and shuts me the fuck down. Like, literally shuts me down. Now, many years later, you guys wrote that book. My name's not all over that book. I had nothing to do with the publication. I didn't make a penny off the fucking thing. But, I mean, people actually know me around the world because of it, you know, so I guess it's a double-edged sword in one way. But I don't mind the literature in it or anything. But at the time, the timing was very bad. And it was very selfish and rude, I guess. Like you were saying, like this dude ESPO saying I was very rude on the phone to him. I'm like, yo, dude, like you kind of like turned my life upside down. Like the worst thing for a criminal or any type of criminal activity is to be exposed. Like to be involved with like having some kind of like investigative reporter sniffing around your fucking goat. Like seriously, think about it. People, that's like the number one thing that'll shut you down. You look at any organization, the mafia, what happens? They push someone too hard, they start wearing a fucking wire. You pressure someone too much, they go to the fucking cops, you know? Like, you know, I mean, honestly, that was the situation that occurred. I had to pack up and leave. I said, like I said, I thought about it, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna bounce, man. I'll live to fight another day, man. And I did, I disappeared. And all of a sudden, RD's not up no more. Where's RD? What happened to RD? Where's RD? Where's RD? What happened? Yo, you ain't heard from RD? What the fuck? That's because I bounced, yo. I told Justin, I said, yo, Just, I ain't fucking with it no more, man. Shit's getting kind of weird out there, man. I think, like, we're the only target, yo. We are the only fucking target left for Giuliani and them to come after. I was on the news for fucking all the shit I did up the FDR Drive, and then I fucking tore up Gracie Mansion. I was just on the news like 2 months, maybe 6 weeks before this fucking guy goes fucking with me about a fucking book. Seriously, I was like public enemy number fucking one when it came to the graffiti world. I mean, of course, you know, just stupid spray paint shit. But yeah, I was public enemy number fucking one. I was on the news 2 times in a week, like day after day in a row, like 2 months before this fucking guy was doing that. And that was all that shit on the FDR Drive and all that shit on the river, all that shit on Roosevelt Island. They were coming down on me. They vowed to catch me on national television. National fucking television. People saw it. People still got the footage out there. Yeah, they vowed to catch me on national fucking television. And I'm out there tearing shit up, and then this asshole comes at me with a fucking book. You know? So, it is what it is, man. But, yo, I like, they talk about, do you ever hear that saying, like, have your cake and eat it? That's like wanting to have your cake and eat it. Like, it's bad enough you guys pretty much raped me of my graffiti career. You know, you shut the shit down. You know, you really did. And then shined all this fucking light on me, wrote a very malicious book. Like, that thing was very malicious intent behind it. Let's be real. Like, come on. That's as clear as day. But I actually like it. I don't give a fuck. Well, fights are fights. Like I've explained, people have fights. Shit happens. But you won't hear anyone ever mention anything about, oh, yo, RD did this, that. You know why? I don't talk about the people I beat up. I think that's kind of like bragging. Or like it's just like a weird, like, insecurity someone would have to talk about something like that. Most of the people I've actually had fights with, I've become very good friends with. The people I've actually beat up. Well, 25 fights, 25 graffiti fights, and I've lost 4 of them, all right? Now, all those other fucking fights, name 3 people, if you can, name 3 people, or even 1 person whose ass I fucking kicked. Out of that fucking number I just gave you. What would it be, 21 or something like that? Yeah, 21 fights I won, 4 I lost. So name 1 of those fucking people. I mean, honestly, I watched one of my friends that was like right there and name it. You can't do that. You can't be someone that was hanging out with me, fighting next to me or something like that. Most of those guys are dead anyway, and the other group of them, they don't even fucking go on this shit. But you get what I'm saying. Like, anyone out there, name 3. Make it simple. Name 3 people's asses I kicked. You can't. You can't, because I don't talk about it. And the person whose ass I kicked, sure in hell ain't gonna say, yo, this, that, you know. They're gonna be like, shit, I ain't gonna say nothing. But, I mean, it would be funny. Maybe one day someone will come out and be like, yo, I remember that time RD got me. Yo, he was drowning me in a mud puddle in the fucking tunnel or something. I actually did that once. Like an old nasty, rusty mud puddle. Had one guy went, I was putting him in the fucking tunnel. Like, in between the 2 tracks, it's got like a ditch, and it was clogged, and it had like this much water in it. It's all rusty orange water, and started drowning, man. You know, if someone came forward and were like, yo, I remember that time RD kicked my, I'd be like, yeah, I remember that, you know, but I wouldn't, like, start that. Like, that, any way you look at that, even a child would know that that's going to cause problems, that that's not going to sit well on one way or the other. Like, controversy will occur. And even many years later or whatever, like, that's just something I've learned a long time ago, just even shit that don't got to do with graffiti. You know, if I had problems with someone, I had problems with them then, and that's it. Done. You know what I mean? Like I said, graffiti is more like a game. So different things slide. Like, I've even had people on like these like streets of saying things, yo, that's why this, and yo, that's why that. But I never did that. I'm like, oh, you're coming at me how many years later after I beat the fucking shit out of you and stole your pants? Like, yo, this one dude, I swear to God, on the streets of St. Thing, acting badass. I literally left him in his fucking underwear in a train tunnel. Seriously, I left this dude in the fucking underwear in the train tunnel. And I think JJ painted his hair. I think JJ sprayed it. He tried to get him in the face, but he turned around. Spray painted him. He got it on the hair. My friend JJ, John. And all these years later, they invent these fucking computers. And all of a sudden, this dude is some fucking badass. You know, from all the way over there and shit, you know. But it's okay. It's all right, man. You know, I don't give a fuck about that stuff. I'm rambling, people. You know, take care. We're going up to 2000. That's Jamaica. Mushrooms and smoking weed. Peace. Yeah, so pretty much sums it all up. At the very end, just look at the dates on this thing. And like I said, this whole thing with this ESPO and Chino himself, he wrote graffiti on the subways in the 80s, mid to late 80s, early, yeah, about 83, 84. Then he wrote on streets a couple of years, maybe up until like the time I got married or something like that, like 91, 92, and then I never saw it again. It disappeared. So many years go by, and he decides to do this book. You know, this ESPO guy comes in from Philadelphia. You know, he's a nobody, and he meets up with Chino, who's technically a has-been. He hasn't done nothing in over 10 years. So I don't know how it works, make themselves relevant or whatever. I mean, you know, there's so many other things you could write about in this world, you know. You gotta come, like, I'm actually writing the graffiti. Like, I'm writing Graffiti. I'm doing what you guys are writing a fucking book about. You get me? And you're gonna sideball me with that shit, yo, for real. Yo, like, honestly, like, yo, I'm doing what you write about. You get me? And then you can just like sideball me and fuck my whole shit up and throw a monkey wrench in my plans. You killed it, man. You guys fucked me up. Yo, imagine, man, I could have been out there hard fucking body and I would have kept going. There was no stopping me. The only thing you people could come up with, the whole fucking 5 boroughs, the whole city, all they could come up with was some crappy fucking weird ass fucking dude from Philadelphia with a fucking eraser head. For real. It's the only thing they got. That was their secret weapon to slow me the fuck down, yo. It worked, man. That motherfucking shut me down. That right there is the truth, man. You know, so God has helped me, man. Hey, and the God, bro. That's what fucking happened, man. I'm dead serious, yo. No one could do shit, man. They got this dude ESPO up in there, man. Yeah, fucking guy was stalking me, shut me down, man. True story, man. True shit, man. Couldn't put it any other way, yo. That shit was straight up stalking. You know, hey. Hey, what's up, people? Yeah, I forgot one more thing. When you see that video footage of me in the Hall of Fame at nighttime, yeah, I actually did that Erica, and then with the leftover paint, I did the RD, all in the same night. I was painting for like 4 or 5 hours. It was just me and Joey TDS. Alright, it's on record, baby. That shit looks huge next to you, baby. Let me go ahead, walk from the E. So you can see how big that shit is. She walking like she in a Guns N' Roses video. You crazy, baby. What do you think of my bullet holes? I did them pretty good, right? Come on, let's get the fuck out of here, baby. Come on. Come on. You can do that? Drunk as a skunk? I used to be able to do shit. Alright, it's on record, baby. Hey, what's up, people? Yeah, like I said, this was pushing into 2000 and 2000 itself. I figured, fuck it, I actually accomplished everything. Like, I actually had the city on lock, man, with the tags. And I started doing pretty shit like this. Here's the Hall of Fame, 2000. It's a little blurry over there, but that says Yoke City Mob, 357 in the corner. It's an Erica, right? What else we got? Yeah, that's 2000 also. But then up here you got... See that RD? You got that one. Then down there, something I did with Baron. I think Lace actually did that, 357. You see the Baron. And I did that there. I got this thing on a tripod. So and some more shit I did in the Hall of Fame. This one ended up on like a Prodigy album or CD case. I don't know what was out then. Prodigy, I believe it was like a rapper. And it says Yoke City Mob again. Here's the RD. And here's the whole place. The whole wall actually says it's an Erica piece, then a Pove MPC, and that's a Spawn, and then this RD. Yeah, we actually caught a bunch of dudes from Europe or something down there. We robbed them. We took all that paint. We actually they actually had the whole background painted in and everything. We just did our shit right over them. And here I am again in the Hall of Fame. This is actually me doing something. Yeah. And down here, oh yeah, there's something I did with Jim's. Look, see, RD and Jim's. And there's another RD here. All this was just in the year like 99, 2000 shit. Like I was busy like that. Like I actually said, fuck it, I got shit unlocked. Then I was running around doing shit like this with Skay. And here's the one I did with Jim's. Yeah, you can actually see the Jim's down there. There's mine. Let me see if I can get down there. I got this down. Here's the Jim's. Yeah, I think it's just that time period. And bottom one's the Hall of Fame again. Top one's another one I did. The rest is just junk. It's just plans I was planning on doing, but didn't get to doing. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually 1990. I don't know what it's doing in that book. You can see it says 1990 Halloween. And down there, this is actually like 87 or something like that. With OC Auto. Yeah. Alright, people. Hey, what's up, people? Yeah, also there's this book that this guy Kett did. Alan Kett. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't want the guy to get mad at me or nothing, you know. But yeah, you see, even in this book, he has an RD in there. See it? And it's that whole wall. See the little basketball court above it? Yeah. I know everyone's like, oh, fuck the RD. Let me see that scene. But you can see the basketball court, right? Anyway, up here, if you can read what he wrote, let me see if I can get it to focus. Anyway, it says RD. Let me see, go like that, maybe. Don't focus, but it says 1999 on it. His book. It's up to that chapter, see? I don't know, I don't want to go flipping through it. Am I allowed to do that shit? Would you assume me or something? So yeah, some nice stuff in there, eh? But yeah, that shows you the year I'm talking about. Great book, man. Hey, what's up, people? Yeah, this is the old garbage truck lot, man. It's still banging, actually. Yeah, see, but it was this side over here as well. These buildings up here, they used to be pretty much abandoned. They used to sell crack on the ground floor of that building. So sometimes when they got raided, everyone would run through here. But all this whole lot here was packed with all these garbage trucks like this. Look, you see them all? I used to hit them one after the other. This is where Spawn used to get them, Buyer 3 and Hard. All those TWB boys, everyone used to kill these shits up there. Hell yeah. This used to be the shit. But there was so many, and then we'd get them all up the blocks and down the blocks and all over this way. See, they'd be all up this block. They'd go all around the whole corner, the whole block. Especially in the winter when they hook up them plows to them. That shit used to be the jam back in the days, man. Yeah, you see? Yeah. But yeah, I was just up here riding around. I said, let me pull out the camcorder because I'm heading over to the Graffiti Hall of Fame. Then there's also another lot behind this building. And the only thing you really had to worry about, I was up here with a lot of people, man. I even brought some of them RIS dudes up here, Suds. Yeah, I used to chill with a lot of people in these places. Jove's in there, man. Jove's, Aver, Spook. All those guys too had these shits on smash. Yeah, this is good shit. Even Cent 4 stuff would wind up here with LA Rock and them too. That shit would wind up in this yard too. Like I said, yeah, let me go behind here. They turned this into like an employee parking lot part, this. But this building here, they used to sell crack on the first floor. And when the cops would come, they'd all run out. This would be all full of garbage trucks too. Right here, all full of garbage trucks. All out in the street, up and down, especially, like I said, during the snowstorm. It'll be all over the fucking place. We used to smash these shits. First Avenue, 99th Street, 100th Street. Yeah, just to kill them fucking. Yo, they would run for years. I swear, like I remember they tried to buff them once for a hot minute, but that shit ain't work. It was like, yo, why bother? There's too many people smashing these fucking things. You see, these big orange things are actually snow plows. See, those are actually snow plows. They got so many of them because, you know, when the snow comes down, that shit's kind of fucked up, man. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. I guess this machine right here must be somehow diesel fuel. That's how they fill the fucking things up to get them moving, you know? Let me see if the other lot's still there. No, they ain't letting you through. They on some bullshit. Come on, man. Let me go over here. See, I got a bicycle with me. These people making my life all difficult and shit. But yeah, I guess this guy here, you see him? He's probably security. You go running on inside there, yeah, he'll be bitching. I can see it. But yeah, we used to go right in there. I'd go in with my dog, and I'd tell him, excuse me, can you help me? My dog was playing with a dead pigeon. Yeah, that's what I'd tell him. They'd be like, yeah, sure, you know, I think you got a sink or something, my dog, I want to wash his mouth down. Fucking with a dead pigeon, you know. Oh wow, yeah, look, this used to be the other lot, but they actually built these buildings here. Yeah, this was a whole other lot that used to be filled with those garbage trucks. They built these fucking things. See, you still got these big orange things all up and down the street. But yeah, look at that. This thing was never here. Yeah. See. I'm going to shut it off now, people. We're going to get up further. Well, no, let me put my bag on. Check out my bicycle, so just bear with me for 1 minute, alright, people? Alright, there we go. Okay. Gotta be rocking a fixie. Alright, let me get this thing going. Give me a minute. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I'm up and running. Alright, now. So I'm on a fix. I got no fucking brakes. I gotta use my legs as brakes and holding the camera. And I'm in my 50s, so don't fuck with me if I bust my ass. Yeah, see? There's Mount Sinai behind it. Whip! Everybody! There we go, I got it. Alright, whoa, this fucking. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off now, people. Don't go in the wrong way and shit. I mean, I'm all good and all, but you know, with the camera and all, peace. Hey, what's up, people? How's it going? Yeah, I'm at the Hall of Fame right now today. Ain't much out here. You know, the way they fucked it up. I mean, I've been here, of course, but after, but yeah, they fucked this shit up. It used to just be all empty. It would be an empty field. I got some video footage of it. I got dig for it in my storage and shit like that. But yeah, I got us hanging out down here. A lot of people at once, you know, chilling, doing stuff down there and stuff.
Okay.
Oop, hey, doggy.
Black and white. Black and white? That's my grandson.
Let me just grab my bicycle. My little old fixie, you know.
I'm waiting for the human one.
Got my Watchman thing going on there. Oh, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your name, man?
But let's go this way.
Sunday, beautiful name.
Right.
Look out, Patty. Let me get a syringe.
Yeah, you can see not much going on out here. This is nice. Patch Crew always gets this spot. This is a good spot. See the Hall of Fame, Strictly Kings and better. Charlie, blah, 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 blah. They wrote everyone up there. Yeah. They're all dead or something. Nah, I mean, they're still alive. I used to people contributed. There you go. Yeah. Let's spin it this way. Do you guys want me to really get a good thing of this? I could do that. Hold on. Let me just put my bike away. See, I still got a fucked up collarbone. I don't know if you guys remember, but I dislocated my goddamn collarbone. Yeah. It's gone about 6-7 weeks. So, alright, let me do it from here. See Harlem. That shit is hot. I love them blockbusters. Okay. Harlem. Oh, look, here we go. Well, hello there. How are you?
Don't be taking no pictures of me.
Oh, I'm sorry. See Harlem. That shit came out hot, no? Yeah, I think they did it a while ago. And then you got all in there. And then he goes back up. Let me get on my bike. Go. Yeah. Now we'll go down this side too. There we go. Like I said, I dislocated my collarbone. Like right when I was getting ready to have fun in this fucking summer, I dislocated my goddamn collarbone. I mean, I wasn't bedridden or nothing, but let's see if we can get some of this shit in there. Here's wild, man. Look at that. Dez is hot. A lot of good shit, man. See, that Dez really stands out. Dez. I ain't gonna lie, man. All my years in this shit, I don't even know what this shit here says, man. People can be like, "Oh, come on, Robert, you fucking with me." But I'm sorry, I'm looking through a gate and I'm old. I don't really follow all that shit. But yeah, man.
You come during the week, I'll let you in.
Oh yeah, during the week? I used to paint in here a long time ago, in the 90s, you know, but I haven't been involved with it since, you know. Yeah, you know, you got this whole COVID thing and everything. Yeah, oh yeah, look at this. It's beautiful. Looks like something out of a heavy metal magazine. Yeah. All right, man. Have a good one. Yeah. Definitely some wild shit. See, this wall kind of there's a wall right under me also. That's real big. I used to do it. I've actually done that wall with me, Spawn, and Pose. That whole fucking wall. I got pictures of that. I could put that on in this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try and get in. Maybe y'all can help me with what everything else says. What is that? Ewok? Ewok's little brother or some shit? I don't know. It looks like an Ewok style. I don't know. Let me be quiet. I don't want to go dissing people. You know, I love everybody, man. You know, it's wild. There ain't nothing wrong with it, but I just don't know what it says. My name is Robert. He likes it. Bravo. 106th and Park.